Hey everyone, this is Evgeny, and today I wanted to show you what progressive disclosure is. Well, in simple words, if you're using AI agents like Claude Code or Windsurf or Cursor or whatever, then you should be familiar already with the concept of skills. So today we are building our own skills that will help our own AI agent. Join me and let's take a look at that together. And before we start, I wanted to mention that if you're curious how to program your agents in LangGraph, LangChain, there are tons of tutorials and guides already available on this channel. So please check the link below. Everything is there. And we continue. All right, as I mentioned, basically, if you're working with modern AI systems like Claude Code, I mentioned, Cursor, I think Windsurf recently introduced skills as well, Codex from OpenAI, then you should be familiar with the concept and basically how it looks like. Normally you have a folder with the skills name and below several folders, one per skill. And basically you have the skill MD file with specific format. You have a name and description and some explanation what should be done there. So this is the basic format of all the skills. And today we're going to check how to work with it with your own agents, with your own stuff, what you're coding. And well, basically what you need to understand is that skills, they are not tools, it's part of prompt. And the basic idea is that I mentioned that already, that you have several levels of prompting. You're not putting everything in the system prompt, but you kind of let your agent know about the possible additional kind of prompts or skills the agent has, and you allow the agent to load this dynamically. So it's being loaded into the context only when it's needed, really. And this time, like you keep the agent more focused on the current work. You don't pollute your context window with that, and basically you allow our agent to focus on the task on the hands, not like load everything. And basically, let me start some initial stuff first. So we're using GPT-4.1 model for better reasoning because it's not text generation. Here we need more additional work. And let me start probably. So basically what we are going to do today, we are going to kind of code AI assistant, kind of Claude Code on its own. And here I created a sample project. I think this one is from our previous videos. I don't remember what was that exactly, but this is the real project. We have a front-end part here with TypeScript. We have backend with Python code. And basic idea for today would be that we create an agent and ask this agent to analyze the sample project and tell us something. Like the initial thing probably you're doing with Claude Code, for example, when you start working on a project. And for doing this, we are defining several folders. So what we have here, we are interested in sample project folder. So this is the working space for our agent, where the agent will be working and looking for files, analyzing and doing all the stuff. We are also interested in skills folder, and this is the one I showed you already here. So they are there. Also, I created a helper function for run the agent. So what's there? We're just executing our graph agent and outputting the result. And all the time we are going to work on the same test prompt. So it's explore the project sitting at sample project. That's this directory. And tell me what it is and whether its configuration looks correct or not. So this is the test prompt we're going to try several times on our agent while working. And our first step would be to define a basic agent without any skills, but I'm using LangChain for that. So I will be using some middlewares as well. Like for example, I want to have file system middleware so the agent knows how to list all the files. He can read some files. I'm providing some additional search capabilities like glob search, grep search as well. If agent thinks, okay, it's a good tool to call that, it's up to the agent, right? And here we are, I'm creating a basic agent, no skills at all, just something you can create on your own. It's a model. We have this 4.1, I think. We have a system prompt, you're a project analyst, and we have two middlewares. I mentioned that already, right? And if I show it, it looks very standard thing, like you have this agent loop here. And let's run it and see how it would do the researching and tell us what this sample project is. And so what's there, look at that. First, it made a tool call for list all the files in sample project. It gets back some data like folders, files there. It performs another looking for like listing files and folders. Then it decided, okay, I want to read a file. Which one? This one, readme. It decided to start from readme. That's fine. So we have some results back from tool call. Well, just let me scroll through it. So a number of searching for reading files and enumerating files and folders in a directory. And then based on that information, that's a lot of work here, right? So there is a project overview. And this project demonstrates human loop architecture using LangGraph, FastAPI, and React, which is true, and main architecture and some directory structure as well. So kind of standard results from researching the project, but no skills are involved in that. So how we can make this agent work better? We can introduce special skills, which means special knowledge. That's part of system prompt. I mentioned it already, but this knowledge would allow agent to better perform the job. And basic idea here is that we have several levels. At the first level, we are only telling the agent very minimum information. We are telling which skills are available and what are those skills, like what the conditions they can be useful, right? And then if agent thinks, okay, this is something I really need, that then we allow the agent to read the content. This is really big prompt, for example, and get this knowledge. So what we are doing for that? First of all, this is the first step. We are doing everything in memory. So we're defining our type skill, which contains of name, description, content. I mentioned that already. And we are providing two skills, file system navigation. And basically, this is about some rules how to search the file system, right, from the project. So where to start, what important files to look, which folders relevant here, like sources, tests, configs, like very typical ones. So we are providing this knowledge. And another skill is config file recognition. And this is about to explain what should be done and how to analyze the configuration of the project. So it's also some specific things like config folder, requirements, txt, package.json for dependencies, some grep search parameters like what you can search for, etc. Right? So we provide all this as a prompt. And next thing, we need to create a load skill tool, because agent has to have the possibility to load this additional knowledge. And basically what's happening here, we are just by the tool name, we are returning back the content, this bigger thing explaining how to do everything, right? So now which way the agent would realize what skills are available? We need to update our system prompt message. And we are doing it here. So what's that? We are just enumerating all the skills in catalog with the name and short description. And then we creating these available skills and providing the catalog, and also saying that if you like don't skill, like we are trying to force the agent to load skills if there is a need, like even if the task seems familiar, still load the skill because it can provide you some additional information. So the final prompt looks like that, right? So you're the same one, you're a project analyst, and that's it. But available skills, you have file system navigation, which is helpful for guidelines for systematically exploring and understanding directory structure. And we have this config file recognition, how to find, read, and audit configuration files, etc. And this forcing thing to reuse skills. So having the system prompt, we are creating our agent, which knows, which is aware about skills. And the difference here is the system prompt is the one containing skills information, and we have load skills tool, which we created already. The rest is really the same. And having that, we are running this agent with the same test prompt, and let's check if there's some difference, right, in the execution. So what do we have here? First, the agent decided from the start that it needs to load the skill, and the skill name is file system navigation, and then the tool returning back all the description about skills. So agent is aware about that, and knowing that, it starts the investigation of the folder, our sample project. So it enumerated, listed all the files and folders, get some back information. Looks the same, right? Maybe the files are different now. It's more focused on real work rather than going through all the files and randomly picking something. Right, what do we have here? It's this exploration phase. And look at that. At some point, the agent decided, okay, now I have to look for configuration, and it loaded another skill, config file recognition. And here's back the explanation of how the configuration should be analyzed. And this one is different, right? Because instead of just looking to files and reading them, it decided to do some glob search instead, like searching for all the environmental files and JSON was there, requirements, package. So it was looking specifically for configuration files, like of all kind of types, right? Most of them were not found. That's expected, right? And read the files. So it analyzes very focused the configuration. So this one is different. It's much better this way, right? And back we have some output as well about the project. I'm not going to read it through, but we know what the project is about, right? We are looking at skills, how they work, not about the project itself. It's just our guinea pig in this video. All right, but skills are working, but they are very kind of hard-coded, right? They are still in memory. We have to define it. It's not dynamic. It's not on the file system as I as I promised you, right? So now it's time to move everything to file system and load this dynamic way. So I showed us already. We have the skills folder. We have the folder per skill, and we have skills inside. And basically, there are 3 levels. I mentioned only 2. So the first one is name and description. The second one is skills MD file. And there is also 3rd level of this progressive disclosure. When you need to provide even extra information to agent, you can put some other files in this folder as well. It could be whatever, like another explanations. It could be code to execute, like whatever. And you mentioned this on your level 2 skills MD, and then agent can load this stuff as well. Just for your knowledge, we are not going to do this in this video, but it's pretty straightforward, right? You just tell the agent, the skill MD, that okay, you have to execute something, you have to read some other files, etc., and like provide conditions when it's need to be done. But for now, let's move everything to file system. And first, we need to scan skills, so it's not hard-coded. We are really scanning them in a folder and creating this skill registry on the fly. So let's do this. I have this scan skills folder. It searches for skills MD in specific folder, which we know our root for all the skills. It parses the file. It defines name, description, path as well. And finally, we can see that registry was properly generated. So we have a skill name, we have the short description here, and we have a path where skill can be found, and the same for file system navigation and same stuff here. So practically these 2 things were found, right? All right, and we still need to have the tool which would load the full skill here. It's this time it's load skill from file system, and basically it's clear, right? We have a registry, we have this path, and based on the skill name, we just looking through the registry and loading the skill back. It's really straightforward. Okay, then still we have to change our system prompt, and the strategy is the same. We have a catalog. We just joining different skills and their descriptions in the system prompt, and put some enforcements as well. And this is something you saw already, right? We have the main part, we have available skills and these enforcements. And then basically we are creating another agent. This is already works with file system, so it's file system agent. We have this load skills from file system. We have the updated prompt, and the rest is the same. And if I run this agent, well, the result will be more or less the same, but this time it's dynamically loaded on a startup, right? So it loads skills from file system, and it's interested in file system navigation. Well, we have this description, from the tool, and well, the like kind of normal research starts. Looking for files and folders, reading some files. At some point, read file. At some point, there should be the second skill, right? Read file, lists. Okay, load skill from file system. At some point, it decided to load the config file recognition skill. Here's the skill itself, and then this kind of grep searching happens. And finally, we are there, right? We have this file analyzers. Okay, everything looks good, more or less, right? We have a list of skills sitting in file system. It's dynamically loaded on the start. But bad thing here, we are working with LangChain, and if you would follow their architecture, the solution could be much nicer here, right? For example, well, we are doing a lot of things manually in our agent, and this is hard to remember, this is hard to follow after some time especially. And basically the last step here would be to introduce our own middleware, which would inject in the whole process, and you don't have to think about this at all. It's just the same way as in Claude Code, for example, you provide a list of skills in a folder, and an agent would do everything automatically without you even taking care of it or even knowing how it works under the hood. So let's introduce, as this last step, introduce this skill middleware and try to hide the complexity under the hood. So what we are doing for that? Well, 3 steps, right? First, on initializing the middleware, we need to load the catalog of all these skills available, right? Second thing, this middleware should perform as every model call, or before the model call, it should update the system prompt. It should inject the information about skills. So it's hidden, it happens automatically again. And it should provide this specific tool for loading skills, so you don't have to set it manually again, right? And here we are, this is this skill middleware. What's interesting here, we have the tool load skill, and this one is from the past already, we saw it. We have this scanning directory and creating the catalog. And we have this part of injecting our skill catalog into system prompt. So all 3 parts are here, and having this middleware, just you have a link to Git repository. You can check it on your own. Like, I'm not going to go into details. It's pretty straightforward. But basically, having this middleware, your agent becomes a very simple one. What we have here, we have a system prompt. It doesn't have anything like regarding skills. It's a normal prompt here, right? This is the way how it should be. We still have 2 middlewares for working with file system and for searching file system. And also we are providing our skill middleware and telling where the skill folder is, right? So this one is something we created, and that's practically it. So if we create this agent and run it, then, well, the result will be more or less the same, right? But this time it's kind of incorporated already. So we have what we have here: hello skill, file system navigation. It gets back all this description, and it starts the researching, like listing files and folders, reading some files, everything as previously. At some point it decides, okay, I need to have another skill, load skill, config file recognition. And again, the skill is back, and some greeping here for specific configuration patterns. And then basically at the end, we have this analysis of the project. We will have it, not yet, it's still working. It's there. All right, that was it about skills. So now it's not only word for you, now you understand how it works under the hood, and now you can implement these things for your own projects, not only use it in Claude Code, for example. And it was me, Evgeny. Thanks a lot for watching till the end. I really appreciate it. And we will see each other in the next videos about AI world and all these techniques and all interesting stuff. See you, take care, and bye-bye.